Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
Hello and thanks for keeping a date with us this morning. It's Enterprise Morning on Enterprise TV. I am Henry Igwebike. We will head straight into what the newspapers have in their headlines before taking a deep into our main conversation for this morning. And I have with me in the studios Dr. Olayinka Oyebile. He is a communication expert and a public affairs analyst. You're welcome to the studios, Mr. Olayinka. And straight to our newspaper headlines for today. The first we have is from Daily Independent. And our banner headline says, Nigerian military draws flags for frequent friendly fire. And on the rider, we have Army claims responsibility for bombing innocent Kaduna villagers. Over 85 killed, dozens injured. Search and rescue still ongoing. It's avoidable. Results of intelligence failure, tactical incompetence, and Kaduna governor orders investigation into killing, calls for calm. So that was riders for the banner headlines. And also we have for the kicker on that we have reps to make public participation in budget process compulsory, and 15 billion naira new house for the vice president, shocking and disheartening Obi. And still on the Daily Independent, we have court gives INEC 90 days to hand over officials for prosecution. And I'd love to ask you, Dr. Olayinka, on the banner headlines, we have Nigerian military draw flags for frequent friendly fire. Now, it's the most popular news right now in Nigeria. How many is too many? Because the reason I'm asking this is in 2021, the Nigerian Air Force Alpha jet mistakenly killed wedding guests. Similarly, the same, just a few months after that, mistakenly equally, they killed over 100 civilians and equally affected scores of soldiers who equally died as a result of this mistake. So the question is, how many is too many mistakes?
Honestly, most times when I read such news or I hear such news, it breaks my heart. One, it's just like in our business as a journalist. Yeah. They tell you that if in doubt, leave out.
Leave, exactly.
Try and confirm. If you can't confirm, then you leave out. You have nothing to lose.
True.
The same thing in military warfare, I believe. It is better to let a criminal escape than to let an innocent soul to die. Now, the military aircraft that threw this bomb, what did they see? Did they see people at carrying weapons or innocent people? Because the issue is, okay, even if you said that your radar showed you that there are groups of people, what you should have done normally is either you go back, take a safer aircraft so that you can come down low and be sure that these people you want to bomb are terrorists. But in this situation, you just started bombing innocent people. And when they tell you that there are 80 people, you know that there are much more than that. And what they said they were doing, it was a village. And they were doing some Muslim Maulud.
Yes.
So, and you know, in the northern part of the country, what will happen is that there will be scores and scores of people.
Exactly.
It's just like in the south here. Maybe I think by now the Holy Ghost Congress or something is going on.
Yes.
You know the number of people that congregate there. So that's the same in the Islamic in Islam.
Yes.
It is the same thing like that.
Exactly.
So they have a lot of people who come around. So why is it that every time we must kill our people? And then military will apologize, the Air Force will absolve itself that they were not involved, this and that. Now, who takes the flak for this? Because, you see, the problem is that when things happen like this, people are not punished. And that is why it is happening. And as I said earlier, it is better you allow a criminal to escape than to kill innocent souls.
But don't you think it's because it was actually an unmanned drone that carried out that? So they are saying if it were to be a manned aircraft or something, maybe the human angle would have been there to recognize that these people actually aren't insurgents.
In that case, why use an unmanned drone? Look, in Nigeria, if we know that we have not understand a technology very well, why deploy it?
Very true.
Do you know that Osama bin Laden that was killed in Abbottabad in Pakistan, you know how many years it took them to monitor him? What did they do? They noticed that there was a particular vehicle that goes out maybe once a month to go and buy food supply, and then they planted a chip on it. So that bus goes in, comes out once a month, and it was that they were studying, making sure that they had their iron cast evidence to say that this was the man we are looking for. And they went in, no single innocent soul was lost.
Was lost apart from.
And you know what kind of evil that man has perpetrated. So if for that kind of a thing, there's no, I mean, honestly, I don't think there's any hurry in doing what they did. Okay, if your man drone came and saw that gathering, it should have been equipped in such a way that it can come back. Then a drone that is manned or aircraft that is manned by human beings will now go and do a survey and confirm that, look, these are terrorists. But in a situation where you have an unmanned drone, saw a crowd of people, it could have been people in a wedding party, it could have been people, I mean, this was a religious,
which was exactly what it was.
So, and now, we also have to be careful with what we are doing. Because, you know, in this country, everything that happened, and we read so many meanings into it. My prayer is that whoever is the officer in charge of that drone, that sent that drone out, should not be of other faith. Because if it was to be of other faith now, there are meanings read into it.
Exactly.
So we need extra care and extra vigilance to be able to do this thing. For me, I will repeat and repeat that word, that it is better you allow a criminal to escape than to kill innocent souls. Why is it that in the New York bombing some years back, the guy that did that bombing, the young boy, immediately the bomb exploded, he ran into the crowd, and they were pursuing him. At a point they left him, believing that, look, let him go. Because if they continue to pursue him, they are going to kill innocent people. And how did they trace him? They were able to trace him through camera, street camera. So these are things we need to invest in. And when we invest in drones, we need to also up our game. As you are upping your game, the terrorists and they are also doing the same thing. Why is it that in that village, yes, the terrorists might be there, they might be near in that area, but we must not give people reason not to be festive or to go for religious gathering.
Yes, exactly.
Because what we have done now is that in future, in that village now,
people will definitely be scared of
people will be
going
scared.
out.
And it's very unfortunate.
It's very, very unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate.
Yes.
You know what we are doing now? This reminds me of a legend. The Sisyphus, it's called the Sisyphus legend. This Sisyphus was the legendary king of Corinth, who will roll a heavy rock up. Immediately it's getting up, the thing will roll down again and it will come and start again. This is what we have been doing. In the military, we have some success, we will salute them, and then after some time, something else will happen. This is not to say that they are not doing a good thing. They are doing a good thing, but at the same time, they must also try and make sure that they don't allow innocent souls to die.
All right, so that was what we had on the Daily Independent, and straight on to the Guardian this morning, and our headline banner says, despite 4 million out of school children, Kano Sokoto orders spend 53.2 billion on scholarship abroad. And also on the rider, on the same newspaper, we have Tinubu faces fresh legal hurdle at Supreme Court, and also protest in Unical over 100% hike in fees and levies. It also has police in Rivers State detained 4 officers over kidnap of hotel staff. Now, Doctor, let's go to the banner headline on the Guardian, which says, despite 4 million out of school children, Kano Sokoto orders spend 53.2 billion on scholarship. The question is, do you sense any form of showmanship in this? Could this be a form of the leaders, trying to show off or flex some sort of monetary muscles, just to, show that, yes, they are here and this is what they can do, while the real issue is staring at them in the face.
In Nigeria, we leave leprosy and face trying to wipe out ringworm. That is just the issue. The governors in the north, I sometimes I look at them and ask myself, do these people really know what they are doing? Why must you spend billions of dollars or naira to send people abroad on scholarship? What do they go abroad to read? When you have millions of children that are out of school, the money you are using, the scarce foreign exchange you are using to send some few people abroad, you can use that to develop the out of school children and also equip your own state universities. In fact, it will shock you to know that in most federal universities in the north and even state universities in the north, majority of the students there are not even their students.
Very true.
Because there is that, what do you call it? There is that lackadaisical attitude to education.
True.
They don't think education is that important. And in a situation where you now have those people who are sent abroad, when you look at them, they are almost always children of people who can afford,
wealthy, exactly.
who can afford to go abroad. So why spend the generality of the populace money to send some few people abroad? Because for me, education abroad is good, but most of those who go abroad for those education don't come back. They don't come back. Because now, if you pay about 9 million or 9 million naira in naira for 1 year to send a child to school abroad, when he comes back home, how many years will he work to get that money? Because education is an investment, I agree.
Very true.
But the truth of it is that now, except those who are working for international organizations, how many Nigerians today earn ₦1 million naira? If you are not working for an oil company or international organization, I'm not sure there's any Nigerian company that pays. I'm talking of a fresh graduate anyway. Yeah. So when you go abroad and you come back, will any company be ready to pay a fresh graduate ₦1 million naira? ₦1 million naira is how much, when you convert it, how much is it in dollar? So you find out that most of these people, that is what they will think about. They will just say that, I can't spend all this money to go and study abroad and then come back home and be taking 150,000, or how much do they pay a graduate in a civil service or even private enterprise. So people, the governors in the north must rearrange their priorities. And I also see this as another way of laundering money. Ask me why.
Okay.
Now, a governor sends maybe 100 students abroad, and he tells you he has spent 1 billion. How do you quantify it?
Quantify it.
Are you going to ask him that, okay, bring the school bill, how much are you giving them, what do you call it, out of pocket money and so on, how much are you? So this sending students abroad is like what we have now. We are building flyover bridges everywhere. It's another way. Because these people know that when you say that you are sending students abroad, you are building flyover, it is in billions. And people cannot ask you questions that, how did you say you spend $1 billion or $2 billion to send a student abroad? They will give you some courses. They will tell you maybe it's something electronic, something engineering. And then at the end of the day, when the guy graduates, he finds out that he comes back to Nigeria, there's no job for him or her. He goes back. That is if at all he comes back. We have people now who are sent abroad on scholarship. When they finish, they will tell them that they would rather prefer to pay back the money that was used to send them abroad. Because they know that when they come here, they will get an appropriate job, or even if they get, the money they will pay them will not be enough to take them home. So we have a situation where people just, our leaders just think that for the optic, let me say that I'm sending students abroad and they will give us some humongous amount of money and everybody will lap it up. Because at the end of the day, we'll look at it and say, okay, he says he has spent 100 million. Then we'll start calculating what's the conversion rate of dollar to naira. He said, if you change it to naira, it's true, it's not much. But it is much. Because most of the schools that they even send them to are not the A-listed schools. They are not the Ivy League schools. Yeah. They are not the Ivy League schools. So they just send them to one of those schools there, maybe one of 2 public schools that are not too expensive. But the bill they will give us is high.
But how do we start getting it right, especially from the north? You know, Al-Majiri system is becoming an eyesore in the north. And how do we get the attention of the leaders there to begin to see and understand that there is a difference, a clear difference between the north and the south of Nigeria, and how it's possible for those in the north, especially these young, uneducated children, how do we begin to reorient the leaders from the north to see reasons to invest more realistically on education?
I'll tell you something. Most of them, they know what we are talking about. But it pays them that way.
It pays them not having it done.
The reason is that they want to be the star, the only star in the firmament, so that everybody comes to them. Rankadede, my son has not eaten today. Can I get some money? Then he puts his hand into his pocket, he gives them a little thousand, and they think it's big money, and they go. The moment people begin to think that the ill living of my neighbor will affect me, they will change. Because when you look at what happens abroad, if not because of the issue of terrorism that has taken over the world, I think it was in 2005 or 2006, I was in Washington, D.C., and I was taking a walk by the curb, and suddenly a big vehicle with some security guard was driving by, and somebody was pointing that that's the president, the U.S. president, and I was shocked. No siren, no nothing. Yes, you had an outrider, and he was just driving past, and there was no blocking of road and anything. This is because these people, they take care of their people. Look, before, I think it was it Biden? Before he became the president of the United States, he was a senator.
Yeah.
He lives outside Washington and boards train to come to the capital when the senator is sitting. He doesn't drive because he couldn't afford it. President Bill Clinton was only able to pay his student loan when he wrote My Life, his memoir, after he left the presidency. 8 years after he left the presidency was when the advance money they gave him to write that memoir was what he used to pay his student loan as a former president. But in Nigeria, will that happen? You are an ordinary local government chairman. They block the road when you want to pass. People cannot see you. But if you do what is right, if you do the right thing, when people don't have to see you as a source of revenue, as a political leader, that's when you will be free. Recently, a Senegalese, I think, there was this video that went around over the social media. This Senegalese woman was working with the Prime Minister, I think Prime Minister of Netherlands or so, on the street. And she was videoing him and they were talking. It's nice to see you, sir. Where are you going? The man said he was walking to his office. Will you see ordinary local government chairman walk to his office? No, because they know that they are not doing the right thing. That is why a man that is representing maybe Alimasho, immediately he wins his seat, he moves to Lekki. He is no longer able to live
connecting to the community.
His people, because they know that they are not doing the right thing. Because if you are not living with the right people, and most of these northern governors, most of them live in Abuja.
True.
When you go to the capital, maybe it is only when they want to present a bill to the assembly, or maybe somebody is visiting there. Immediately they do that, they are already in Abuja. The same thing with their local government headquarters. So, why should you be spending so much money on very few people when you have millions of
people who are
out
in
of
need?
school? Education is a liberating factor.
Yes.
That is why you find out that here, yes, people depend on government a little, but the level of dependence of government in the southern part of the country is
minimal.
It's minimal.
Yeah.
Because when your road is bad, you call your people in your community, let us fix this road, you fix it. It is not that way there. They wait for government
For virtually everything.
For virtually everything. So we need to, they need to break away from that. And they know, but they know that if they educate their people, that power, that Ankadede power will be lost.
All right, but they say education is a right, it's a fundamental right, and it's important that every child, gets the opportunity of being educated, and not just for some privileged few. And straight to the Punch, a newspaper headline today, and still the banner headline, like we saw on the other papers, is outrage as warplane kill 85 in Kaduna village bombing. And on the kicker for the same newspaper, we have cash shortage hits banks. Customers rush for BVN, NIN revalidation. And also on the rider for the same paper, we have Emefiele, U.S. group alleges human rights violations. And we still have on the same newspaper, collapsed bridge, making life unbearable, Lagos community laments. Now, on this, the Punch, Doctor, I would love us to tackle two issues here. Number one is on the collapsed bridge, making life unbearable for Lagos community, and the second will be on Emefiele. But let's start with the collapsed bridge that's making life unbearable for Lagosians. And the question is this. Lagos is a cosmopolitan state, and Lagos is the richest state in Nigeria. In fact, it is said that if Lagos were to be a country, it should be the fourth or the fifth richest country in Africa. But the sad truth is that there's no evidential checkmark on what the wealth that Lagos state accrues is made to be seen in the community. When it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to human capital development, we don't see any of that. Now the question is, do you think the problem is born as a result of maybe the system of leadership, or is it culturally based? What do you think is the cause of this this issue of people just letting it go and feeling there's nothing wrong about it, even when they know there is a very big issue?
Honestly, if there were to be a state in Nigeria that should be the best developed in the country, it should be Lagos.
Definitely.
Ask me why. One, it is the richest state, as we have, it is widely acknowledged. Besides that, from 1999 to now, if you look at all the 36 states in Nigeria, okay, maybe Rivers too, it is all about the only state that has had only one party ruling.
Yeah.
Maybe with Rivers.
Yes.
So there should be continuity.
Smooth transition from one.
And in fact, the Lagos case is unique because it is not only that it is one party that is ruling, but it is a particular individual that determines
who.
The other states, maybe the power shifts, it might be the same party, but it might not be the same. So you then ask yourself, what is the problem? When we talk of saying that, okay, don't let us change a winning horse. Lagos has never changed a winning horse in quotes.
Yes.
But what is the problem? If you look at, I was recently in Akwa Ibom about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Oh my God. I told myself, I said, for anybody sitting down in Lagos and saying, oh, Lagos is center of excellence, Lagos is this, Lagos is that, is bunkum. If you go to Akwa Ibom, even the inner cities, everywhere is tired. What are Nigerians asking for? Nigerians are not asking for any big thing. Make the roads motorable. The issue of water is out because Nigerians have found a solution to that. And the issue of electricity too is almost that way. But the issue of roads,
infrastructures.
Now, you find out that in Akwa Ibom, almost everywhere you are going is tapped. It doesn't matter whether it is like Adegunle or one or Musin or those low grade areas, everywhere is tapped. And Lagos, with the resources it has, should be able to do that. In the last how many weeks, we have been putting it on social media everywhere. What is the distance of Ogba, where the police G division and
Yes.
the NIJ is,
Exactly.
to Alausa, in Ikeja, the capital? What is the distance? But that road is completely
messed up.
It's completely messed up.
True.
It is a state road. It is not a
state road.
federal government road. So
True.
you can't say it is federal government. Now, and you know the worst thing, most of these roads, they will now go and put stones.
True.
Stones that can tear or spoil your tire. Your shock absorber, your suspension.
Because they're actually not meant for. They're not meant for such kind of.
What they are doing is they think they are helping motorists, but they are making business for. They are doing it at a terrible cost to those who are driving. So now you ask yourself, why is it that Lagos, okay, a bridge now has fallen? Why is it that the states cannot quickly find a solution to it? I mean, the whole thing, it boils down to, you ask yourself, all the money that the state is making, where is it going?
Where is it going to?
What are they doing with it? We are not seeing the result of that IGR they are always banning about Lagos. We raise it from 300 million to something billion and so on and so forth. It is not for you to tell us that this is how much you have made. But we want to see the money you have made, what have you used it for? So it's very unfortunate that in a state like Lagos, a bridge will break down and people will have to be appealing to the governor, appealing to the commissioner for works and SA works and so on before it is fixed. It's very unfortunate.
Very, very unfortunate.
With all the resources in the state, it shouldn't even be a thing to talk about.
It shouldn't even be a no-brainer.
It's a one party that has been taking over the state since then. So, I mean,
that's actually a very sad one. And let's go straight to Emefiele. You know, the U.S. group is alleging human rights violations. Now, the truth is, we all went through a very disturbing time, you know, during the colorization of the Naira by, that's what I call it, because that wasn't a redesigning in any way. It was colorization of the money. And we all went through that hell, you know, and it is acceptable, you know, by common Nigerians that Emefiele should go through some sort of discipline, if you might call it. But do you think that that discipline is becoming too much, which is the reason why the U.S. group is alleging that there's a human rights violation?
Well, if you look at it critically, yes, it might be human rights violation. Two wrongs don't make a right, I agree. But I think that what is going on should also teach people a lesson. Because as I said, Emefiele didn't take that decision alone. There are people in power who supported his action.
True.
But as the Yoruba would say, if you are sent a message as a slave, you must use your sense as a freeborn to deliver the message.
True.
This is a lesson for everyone that is in government, that when decisions are being taken, you must look at the repercussion. Yes, his right is being violated. Well, we agree, but millions of Nigerians' rights were violated too.
Very true.
I mean, there are people today who
lost their lives
a
at that particular
senior
time.
registrar of Lagos State University lost his life. Why? He was on a queue. He wanted to call. The bank was giving only 5,000 naira. A senior official, and right there on the queue,
He slumped.
and died. So how do you want to compensate that family? That family will feel that Emefiele is having his comeuppance. As far as that family
Very true.
is concerned, except they are deep Christians or Muslims who say that okay, it is God that brought it, but that is not to say they shouldn't allow him to have some level of freedom and be tried. But I think it is a lesson for all of us, whether in government or out of government, that when you are taking decisions, you must take your decision at a point that you can be able to defend your action, that look, it is for the good of everyone.
Very, very, very true. And just like Nigerians would always say, what we ask of our leaders is not to invent the wheel or to reinvent the wheel, but rather we often want to ask them to direct the reinvented wheel to the direction that will be beneficial to themselves and to the rest of Nigerians. And that's how far we can go with our newspaper headline for today. And I still have with me Dr. Olanyika Oyebile. Thank you so very much for being part of our morning program today. And when we return, the Nigerian army admits to bombing Kaduna villages in error, but scores have been killed already. Stay with us. Please don't go anywhere.
Enterprise TV, your one-stop shop for news, programs, human angle stories, the economy, sports, and much more. We go the extra mile to bring incredible details to you. So hop on the train now. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.